Hello and welcome to the Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 71. Learn the spiritual side of manifestation. 7 steps to follow to become even more powerful. So I want to share where the idea of this show came from. I'm on a bunch of different groups on Facebook, law of attraction groups, different things like that. And I've noticed over the course of time how people take in and ingest this manifestation information. A lot of times people only take the science. They only listen to part of the message of what universal law is really about. And the truth of universal law and being a human on this planet is that we have a spiritual side. We have a spiritual connection. We have infinite intelligence on our side. And if you're just looking at the science of manifestation, you're probably only half as powerful, maybe 3/4 of the way powerful, because you're not connecting with that co-creative energy and source to help you, to assist you, and inviting in all of this non-physical help. A long time ago, I saw this show and it was Anita Morjani. Her book is called Dying to Be Me is the name of her book. And she's amazing. She had 80% of her body was covered in cancer. She went into a coma, had a near-death experience, came back. And what I learned from her was that there is all this energy. It's like we have a flashlight going on in this life. And there's, when you go beyond the veil, there's all of a sudden this spotlight, and you can see that there's so much more energy here for us to draw from and to call in. So if you miss the spiritual side of manifesting, you will only be so powerful. And also, you don't take into account what's in store for you. What could be in store for you that would be better than this? Because much of our journey is here to help us expand and grow. So I'm in this group and it's called Manifesting the Specific Person. I don't even know how I ended up in this group. And I like to share my posts every day in there. And the disconnect I'm seeing in this group, in fact, I left it today because people tune into a belief system and then that's all they can believe. And I got out of the group because I thought I cannot be helpful because they're tuned into this belief system that says I can manifest a specific person, even if they're already married to somebody. I can manifest anything. And yes, there are elements to that may be true. However, if there is someone in your experience that you really want to be with and they're already with somebody else, to me, it is a complete waste of time to wish and hope and dream for that person, because there could be something else out there that's already available for you. Why would you connect with someone who's unavailable? Like, why would that be? Like, first of all, manifesting is not supposed to be hard. We're not supposed to be coming up against a bunch of dense energy, and we're not supposed to be stealing people from other people. Like, I just feel like that's really crappy karma. Second of all, there's a lot of people in this group that are going after people that broke up with them and they can't get over them. And to me, that is also a real waste of your energy field, because you didn't take that experience and learn and heal and grow what you needed to grow from it. You're just, believing that there's only this one person for you. And the fact that that person doesn't want you puts you in a very frustrating position where energy really isn't moving and you're just fighting against it. Your best bet in situations like that is just completely let go. Let go and allow, because you could be blocking the blessings for something else. And also keep this in mind. I don't know why this is coming up, but when you are chasing someone or you are chasing something or you are coming from desperate energy, the field gets really dense and it becomes hard. And that's how you know that you're working too hard. You're not calling in non-physical support. You're not allowing the energy to turn in your favor. It will eventually, but it's going to take longer and it's not going to be as fun. So I'm going to give you guys the tips today to meld the science and the spirituality of manifestation so that you can become your most powerful creator. Because without the spiritual part of this, without understanding that what's going on in your life experience is part of your expansion and growth, you're going to miss things, and you're also going to beat yourself up way too much. So if you're sitting in this belief system of, I've tried and tried and tried, and I can't get this thing to manifest. I must be a terrible manifester. This show is for you, because oftentimes, first of all, let's do a little quantum physics real quick so you can understand how energy works. So we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have beliefs, right? Those go out into the waves of the universe. That's how our energy is conducted, mostly from our emotions, but our beliefs are powerful as well. So our emotions, which are connected to our beliefs, are energy in motion. Those come out in waves, and then they break down into particles and become matter, which then becomes physical. That takes time. And if you're too impatient and you're trying to make something happen and you're working really hard at it, you're going to densify the field. You're going to actually create slower moving particles in the field because you're not allowing it. You're not in receiving mode. You're in fighting it out mode. You're in resistance mode. You're in trying to make it happen mode. And the energy of that does not feel good. And because it doesn't feel good, you're putting yourself in a frequency that is of a lower nature. And so the things that are of a higher frequency, the opportunities, the people, the abundance, the money, all of that stuff is way up here and you're down here working your butt off to make it happen. And this is the old school way of thinking, right? I got to set my goals, I got to hit them, I got to work hard, and it's a programming. It's something that we've been programmed for a very long time, our whole lives. So getting into this allowing system, this allowing nature, and using universal law to your ultimate advantage means you allow the emotions, you allow the things that are coming up, you allow, when things look like they're not working out for you. I was just talking to somebody about this, and this is one of my favorite things about universal law, is when things really look like they're not working and they get harder and harder and harder. That's when things are about to turn for you. So either you will make the decision to let something go, or something will happen and it will just let go, because the energy gets so dense that it kind of blows it out. So if you're in that situation right now and energy is really dense, I'm going to tell you right now, in our planetary system and the things that are going on, energy is dense. Everyone I'm talking to is feeling dense energy, including myself. The last couple of days, I've just had to be. That's why this podcast is a day late, because I had to just be yesterday. I had to allow, I had to receive, I had to just do what was calling to me. And oftentimes, I know that's not easy if you have a job and you have to go to your job every day, but sometimes it's just letting yourself off the hook mentally, where you're not on this constant to-do list of life-sucking energy where you're pulling yourself into exhaustion. Possibly this is how we get sick, because we're not allowing energy. We're just fighting against it. So finally our body says, okay, I'm going to give you a break. We're going to bring in an illness. Also, sickness is about up-leveling. So it's going to help you release those low vibrational things. All right. So life is leading you to more: the good, the bad, the ugly. The better you can get it, not judging it in that way and not labeling it in that way, the faster the energy will move. So when something happens that's not optimal and you say, I can't wait to see what manifests from this, or you don't set up a bunch of resistance. This is what happens when something happens and it's not great. We tend to get real resistant about it. So we complain about it, we bitch about it. Hello. We have issues with it. We want to talk to people. We want to get people's advice. We're just activating the problem. We're literally sitting in the problem. And because the problem and the solution have two different energy fields, we have to let go of the problem, give ourselves a break, and say, I have to, and that's the other thing, we're trying to figure it out too far ahead of time. We don't have enough information yet. I have to just sit back and I've got to see what happens here so that I know where my best energy is going to be moving forward. The universe, the energy around you will tell you what the next best step forward is. And oftentimes, we have these things that happen that feel like the worst thing in the world, the illness, the foreclosure, the bankruptcy, all different things, accidents, all those things that we look at that are the worst thing ever, oftentimes can be an up level in our experience where we start to realize and no longer take things for granted. My daughter just recently hurt her ankle. She did a real number on it, sprained her ankle, and she is a server and she is taking care of someone. And those things, she's got a dog she has to walk. She's a single mom. She lives on the third floor apartment. Good Lord. So a lot of contrast for her. And, she said to me the other day, God, everything was going so well. Everything was so balanced. And, I was making money and I was doing well and things were abundant. And I said, this is just another level, babe. Like it's time to level up. It's time to look at and clear out the feelings of powerlessness that you've had in the past. And this is leading you to more. And interestingly, she's got a couple of opportunities coming her way that have to do with what she really wants to do with her life. So she's actually doing a personal training program that's all online, and she's had to sit her butt down and do it. She has time now. She has no excuse. So it's interesting how the universe will deliver these things to us. And we'll look at them and say, this is terrible. This is horrible. This is awful. I can't stand this. And we don't look at the gifts and we don't have the gratitude for, oh, wow, at least I'm being supported. At least, money has come in from different, really unexpected places. I'm always taken care of. And this is, she has literally experienced this several times. And yet it's still challenging. So I don't think that we really expand and grow until we look at our experiences, especially if there's a cycle going on and we say, okay, I'm going to respond differently to this. And because I respond differently, I'm going to change the energy field. And because I'm changing the energy field, my outcome is going to be more optimal than it was before. So it feels like you're living a cycle over and over again, but the truth is, all you have to do is change your response to change that cycle. Also, something that we do that is so, like, even in my own life experience, and I just realized this, we don't look at how far we've come. We don't give ourselves credit. And the reason for that is because the mind likes to keep us safe in the same. So the mind will literally make us forget how far we've come. And it'll, have us looking at our bank account and going, well, my bank account hasn't changed. But the truth is, all your bills are paid, or the truth is you're feeling better every day. You're in gratitude every day. So your energy, your vibration, your frequency is up leveling. And remember, it takes a little time for that physical energy to catch up. So all you have to do in that situation is, believe me, I have been there several times, is let go. Let go and interrupt. Let go of the feeling of constriction. Let go of the feeling of fear. Turn off the effing news. I can't say that enough. When we were going through our financial difficulties, I had to turn off the news. I would listen to the radio in the morning and they would have the news and it would be all this financial downfall and, recession. And I mean, everybody's talking about it now, right? Well, if you tune into those frequencies, you're going to create it. There are people that get wealthy in economies like this. So there's another frequency to tune into. So all you have to do is interrupt, change your response, calm the F down, relax, take some deep breaths, meditate like your life depends on it, because it does if you want to change your frequency, and keep reminding yourself, I've come so far. I've come so far. I'm going to keep going. I'm not stopping. A lot of people get really frightened of fear and they get really scared when they make these big leaps of faith and then it looks like things might not work out for them and they get really fearful. And that fear tends to imprison us. And when it does that, we forget that we're never going to quit. So we feel like a failure before we've even failed. And then that sets up the field for more feelings of failure. So if we can let that go and say, I've come too far to fail, I'm never going to quit, so I can't fail, you will be so much better off and you will turn the energy much more quickly in your favor. Universal law is everything is energy. The spiritual law is, everything is energy and your growth and expansion is at the forefront. So everything is energy, but your growth and expansion is important. It is number one important because it's why you came here. So when you sit down and you've got these low vibe emotions, I've definitely been working through some mucky ass energy. I'm just journaling it out. I'm meditating. I'm taking it easy. I'm watching crappy TV. I mean, whatever you need to do to get through that time period is what you need to do. Take a bath. Self-care is amazing. Journaling, meditating, being easy on yourself when you're in a low vibe and not saying, I shouldn't be here, not trying to get out of it, right? Fighting our way out of it. That's what we've always done because we've been told, you know what, if you're going to have emotions, you're going to go sit and time out. So then we sit there and time out and go, okay, I got to pretend like I'm happy. And we're not. We're not happy. And what ends up happening is we set up a vibrational energy underneath it all that sucks. And then somebody triggers us, a driver, a kid, a parent triggers us. And all of a sudden we're in this insane emotion that we do not want. And we're doing things that we wish we didn't do. So you're so much better off dealing with those emotions underneath. So the spiritual law is about our expansion and growth. And yes, you are powerful beyond. However, in order to really infuse that power, in order to really step into that power and that confidence and that strength and everything you want and everything you desire, you must get rid of these low vibrational energies underneath, these low vibrational emotions underneath, and deal with your whole emotional scale. There's a whole scale of emotions, and they're all good. They may not feel good, but they're all good. My post today on Facebook was all about that idea that, we cannot know true light until we know darkness. And we cannot know joy. We can't have a capacity for joy until we know the opposite of joy. That deep, dark, down, dirty depression that you experienced created a greater capacity for joy when you come out of it. So, stop holding yourself in these patterns of just, being less than and just being okay and not dealing with the stuff underneath. It takes practice, it takes vulnerability, and it takes dealing with your shit in order to up level into what you're really looking to create. So your growth and expansion take precedence over the science. They do. Now, the reason for that, the science is always going to reflect to you what you have going on. So that vibrational energy, that frequency is always going to reflect what you have going on. This is why people who are feeling broke, who are feeling fearful, who are feeling constrictive can win the lottery because it's their destiny to expand and grow from that. However, a lot of them, I know I've used this example before, a lot of them lose it because they weren't in the field of abundance. You're like, well, they must have been for a second. Sure they were. Sure they were. The dreams, the desires, that strong desire that creates. But in order to maintain abundance, we must absolutely have a vibrational frequency of abundance. So that's why they say, those sayings, the rich get richer. We used to say the rich get richer and the poor have children, right? Like, why? Because children are a low frequency and they spend all our money. So if you want to be in the higher frequencies, I'm not saying don't have kids. Good Lord, I am not saying that because there is a lot of joy in that experience. What I'm saying is, in order to create a belief system around your abundance, you have to release the low vibrational stuff, the generational stuff, the programmings, that I am not good enough. All the unworthiness stuff has to go in order for you to step and stand in abundance, in your power to create abundance, and in your belief systems that you are worth it, that you are absolutely worth it. So the piece of the specific person manifesting that I think really gets me, which is this is the spiritual part of manifestation. If it's good for you, if it ultimately serves your highest purpose and good, that's when you want it to come. So the person who you may be wanting to manifest, this person that you're in love with that may be married or may be rejecting you over and over again, may be the worst possible person for your expansion and growth. They may keep you small. They may keep you unworthy. So you don't want that. You want to step into an energy of trust in the universal flow, trust in the universe's plan. It's not all mapped out and planned out as specific, but the energy of expansion and growth absolutely is. So we come here for these experiences. That's why getting upset about people's journeys, like especially your children, this has been a huge thing that I've had to detach from, which is so challenging. I think, I don't know. I can't really talk for mothers and sons, but I feel like mothers and daughters, like the bond that I have with my girls is so strong. And ultimately, even with their dad, I mean, I guess it's all parents probably feel this way. You want your kids to be happy. You just want them to be happy. And when they're not happy, you kind of feel like you want to scramble to make them happy. But the truth is they have to learn, they have to expand, they have to grow, and they're not going to do that from being kept in this little bubble, always keeping them safe, not allowing them to make their own mistakes. I think that was one of my biggest frustrations growing up with my parents is let me make my own mistakes. They were so afraid of me making a mistake that they wouldn't let me live, right? So we have to allow that energy, allow our kids, allow our family members and the people around us to have their own experiences and don't take their shit on. It's so hard. As a mom, that is probably one of my most challenging things is that concern, that overly concern for other people and empathizing so much with other people that we allow it to drop our vibration. So we feel so bad for people's experiences that we discount and we don't see the benefit to their life that they needed. Like, for instance, I have a friend who actually hurt her knee recently, and it was no big deal. But, in the beginning, you don't know. Like, you hurt your knee, and it was a weird, like, tweak thing that happened, and she was limping, and she was concerned that this was going to take her out, and she wasn't going to be able to go to the gym, and she wasn't going to be able to do stuff. Well, before that, she had shared with me that she was spending her weekends laying on the couch watching Netflix and that she had to get out more, and she really should be. And I thought, this experience of hurting her knee and being planted on the couch on purpose is going to help her get out and do more because she's going to go, oh, I was taking that for granted. And I feel the same thing with my daughter. So it doesn't mean that we have to get injured in order to appreciate our lives. But a lot of times that's what that injury is about. It's about saying, hey, do you have any gratitude? Where's your frequency at? Are you low vibing it all the time? Can you pull yourself up? Can you move into gratitude? And I'm going to give you a couple of tips on that as well. All right. So 7 steps to manifesting from the science and the spirituality. You guys know the first thing I'm going to say is meditate. You got to quiet your mind. You've got to create a connection between you and that field of higher consciousness. There's a lot of reasons why. One is you won't be subject to the monkey mind, which is this thing that's cranking all the time, telling you what to think, telling you what to worry about, telling you about the future, worrying about the past, all of that stuff. You're going to quiet it. You're going to raise your vibration into a higher state where the field becomes more palpable. So the field actually becomes like clay in your hands because what you're doing is you're clearing the field. You're allowing yourself to go into zero state awareness where all things are created from. And when you clear the field, you raise your vibration, you become more powerful. So we always want to be in that higher frequency. Meditation is a number freaking 1 if you want that in your life. It also gets you out of this worldly thing where there's electronics and all this distraction and, that just addictions to things, all of that stuff. It grounds you back into your body and helps you to realize that there's more than this. Absolutely. That is my reminder every day that I am infinite intelligence, my meditation. Coming out of that, saying, I am powerful, I am worthy, I am strong, I love this day, I love everything I get to do. Those are the frequencies that I choose to be in. Is it like that every day? Hell no. Yesterday, I meditated for an hour and then I actually went back in and did another hour. I will do that if there's some low vibe stuff going on. I'll meditate a couple times. I don't suggest an hour-long meditation if you're new, but for me, I know I need to quiet the noise because the noise is what really tunes me into those lower frequencies. And then journaling helps you kind of get in touch with, all right, what's going on with me? And honestly, it was just like I needed to just take my foot off the gas. Like, we can often just like keep hitting it and keep hitting it and keep going. And I don't want to I want to stay healthy. I almost said it. I want to stay healthy is the way to stay healthy. Don't say I don't want to get sick because then the focus is on sickness. I want to stay healthy. So I'm going to give my body that time to rebalance, to get back into my flow. Enforcing things, whenever I've like forced this podcast, usually the microphone won't be on or the record won't work or I'll, click off of the Wi-Fi, all that good stuff happens. So I'm always like, I got to be real sure that my energy field is clean before I come on here talking to people about the right way to do this. All right. So meditate is the very first thing. So you can raise that consciousness, get yourself out of low vibrations and desperate actions. And it only really works. Meditation works really well. It works all the time. It absolutely works all the time, no matter what. But if you can change your state when you were there and if you can carry it with you. So my daughter said something to me recently. I often meditate with YouTube with my phone. And then I picked up my phone and I started, went on Facebook, see if anybody commented, that sort of thing, which is a habit and an addiction. Hello. And she said, Mom, my little guru, don't go on your phone right after you meditate. Like, let it marinate, let yourself feel it, go outside, spend some time in the sun. And I was like, oh man, she's so right. So now I'm conscious of that. Thank you very much. Thank you, message from the universe. Okay, so ask and be clear when you ask. So you want to go beyond your limitations by asking for the true vision of your desire. So oftentimes in manifestation, what we do is we dumb it down and we only ask for what we think is possible. So recently I had a friend who was looking for a home and she really got locked into a house. And I've totally done this before, like a fixer upper. I love this place. I'm feeling all these signs. I'm getting all these signs. And the people basically would not budge on the price that she needed to get in order to do this massive renovation to this place. And, I just said, I've been there so many times. I've gotten so locked into houses. And then I actually had a vision of this house that we wanted down the street from our house. And it was this old, I love old houses. So it was like the 1700s house. And there really was nothing special about it. And it was on a pretty busy road. And there really wasn't that much of a backyard. And, I just fell in love with the house. And I thought, oh my gosh, this has to be my house. This has to be my house. And then I think this was actually several years later that we actually found the house that we moved into, which was a 5-bedroom Dutch colonial with a massive front yard, a pool, and a hot tub, right? So those are things that I didn't even ask for because I didn't think they were possible. I was going to this other, not super small house, but pretty like not so great house because I thought, okay, that's what I can deal with. That's what I can afford. That's what I'm worthy of. And the universe had other plans for me. So it took a little time, right, for that manifestation to break down into particles and become matter. It took that time for that house to be available to me and for that miracle to take place, for us to be literally driving around. We were driving around in a town. We were getting real serious about finding a house. And every house that we found, this was our first home that we bought, just like we had 4 children at this point. Every house that we looked at was like a 3-bedroom we'd have to add on. And we didn't want any of the girls to share. I know that sounds silly, but at that point we had teenagers and toddlers and we just needed everybody to have their own space. We knew that as the girls were getting older, they were going to need their own space for everyone's sanity. So, we didn't want to do a big renovation, even though my husband could. Like, our life was already so chaotic. So we were looking at this other house, didn't really have a yard, but I loved the house. I could see myself there. And as we were driving around that town to take a second look at this house, that's when we drove right by the house that we ended up buying, for sale by owner, in the yard. And wow, like what that was probably one of the biggest miracles of my life. When we moved into that home, I felt like such a different person. Like my entire vibration up leveled and I felt completely different. I was like, just because of what was, we had lived in this teeny tiny little house. It was this really cute old house for a long time. Like every room was a bedroom except for the living room and the kitchen. So moving through that and then moving into this, it was like a gigantic house at this point with a pool and a hot tub. Was just like, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. So going back to that, and my friend and her having, thinking about this renovation and wanting to do this and kind of getting locked in, I said, you got to let go. You got to let go. Like, you've done everything you can do. And if the energy is feeling hard and it's not feeling right, something better is coming. And sure enough, she ended up with the most incredible house that does not need work, that is so perfect for her, that literally, like, if I thought of a house for her this would be the one. Like, it is so her, it is so her style, and it so just fell into place. And that first house helped her to get ready, helped her to go get her pre-approvals, helped her to ready her, her expansion and growth. She found out her rent was going to be more. All of these things are energy telling you what direction to go in. But when we get locked in, right, like that specific person or that specific house, we slow the energy down. It's still going to work out. It's just not as fun. It's not as fun along the way. So if you can step into this spirituality of manifestation by knowing, by trusting, by believing, if this is meant for me, it will be. That is an incredibly powerful position to be in. When we ended up moving into this house, we actually just rent because we weren't sure in Orange County, and we were still coming through our credit scores. Still, we were still recovering when we came into this house. We started renting 5 years ago here. They wanted an extra deposit. They wanted an extra $4,000 for us to move in here. And in my experience in life, I have never actually gotten my deposits back because they always find reasons, even though my husband is like, Mr. Fix It. So I thought, you know what? I don't want these people to have $8,000 of our money. We could have done it. We could have figured it out. We always do. And because of that, I said no, because I knew that this house was mine at that point. And there was a level of faith that was going on at that moment that said, I need to be in my power in this. I'm not desperate. We are not those people that need to put down 2 months because we had recovered quite a bit. And because I knew at that point who we were. I wasn't in this desperation. I wasn't in this suffering. Even though we had a timeline, we had to be out. I wasn't in the desperation. I wasn't in the unworthiness. I was in my power. I was like, that house is mine. Just give it to me. So there is a huge piece of that when you trust and when you have faith. Then you're never pressured to buy things. It's like, if that was meant for me, first of all, I would have bought it because I would have felt inspired to buy it. And if it's not here when I come back, then it wasn't meant to be and there's something better. Oh my goodness. When you can live from that, that is spiritual manifesting at its finest. All right, so ask and be clear and try to get rid of your limitations. So the question to ask when you're journaling and when you're meditating about manifestation and spirituality and creating and co-creating with the universe, source, God, is, if I could have exactly what I want, what would it be? And then go a little crazy, go a little outlandish, because that's how you set up the field. Number 3 is, don't just wish to manifest money or a lottery win. Right? Because you want to be ready for it. If you're going to get a lottery win, you want that lottery win to be life-changing forever. And you don't want to catch yourself back in a low vibe with less money than you had before. I've seen that happen. So don't just wish for the money. I think too many people do this and they think, I just want money. I just want money because then I'll be free. And they sit there in this low vibrational quality of energy, wishing, hoping, praying for more money when they feel broke and they feel less than and they feel unworthy. Oh, why can't I just have it? My thing now is like, why the hell not us? I mean, everybody else is doing it. We are surrounded by abundance. Why not us? Absolutely us. Absolutely us. So absolutely you. Why not? If it's available, there's so much money in this world. There's so much abundance in this world. We just have to tune our frequencies to it, and then it becomes. And we've seen lots of stories of that. We've seen lots of people that it seems like they overnighted success, but they really were readying their vibration for a longer time than you could imagine. Okay, number 3 still. Okay, are you addicted to drama? Okay, so this is a really good question, and this goes with number 3, unless I'm repeating my number 3. Let's just see where this is here. As I flip pages and I yell at guests for doing that. Yeah, don't just wish to manifest money. So this goes along with that. Are you addicted to the drama? So are you addicted to the fear of finances? Do you expect things to go bad after they've been going well for a while? I asked my daughter that. I'm like, was there a belief in there that things were going too good and you're expecting things to go bad? Because, you got to look at those things. Do you feel fear when things are going good? Like, are you in this like euphoric state where it's like, oh my God, I'm so happy something bad's coming, Do you do that? Because that's a human condition that we have. Absolutely. Like, things have been going really good for a while. What's going to happen? And then we brace ourselves, right? So you want to check on that belief system. You want to let that belief system go, because even if things have happened to you before, we've been through the recessions, we've been through the economy falling, all of that. This time we're like, oh, hell no, that's not us. We're not doing that this time. We are up leveling, and we absolutely are up leveling. So it's a decision, it's a belief, and there's a worthiness piece of it. Absolutely, to take it. Number 4, becoming in many ways as possible. So this is identity creation, one of my favorite things to talk about. So it's becoming that person in as many ways as you possibly can. So if it's health you're after, getting up in the morning thinking, okay, I am absolutely at the top of my health game. It means ignoring symptoms. It means interrupting thoughts. It means having a belief around your pain just being energy, and doing some energy work, some breathing, some meditating, some releasing. And then if you're feeling low vibration, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling any of that stuff, it's journaling it out. What does this tiredness want me to know? What does this anxiety want me to know? And it's getting the stuff out of your body. There's also a thing on YouTube that I love. It's called Yoqi. It's Yoqi, and it's Tai Chi, and it absolutely clears your body of energy. I just love it. It's this beautiful woman, Marissa, and she does it in the most beautiful places with the cutest outfits, and she's amazing, and she just is zen. So if I'm needing that, she's got a mental clarity one, she's got releasing of energy one. I mean, they're just all really good. Do something like yoga or running or walking. Just get your body moving to spark that energy, to spark those hormones, the hormones of calming you down, the hormones of feeling good, the euphoria, all of that, serotonin, all of that stuff gets downloaded when we move our bodies. When we sit in anxiety and fear, we're in the mind. So we want to do something to connect us to our bodies. So, what do I need to interrupt is a great question. So, I did a little journaling exercise today in our M21 group. That group is still going right now. We're doing a 21-day challenge. I think we're on day 7, but you can come in anytime. M21 Revolution on Facebook. It's a free group. We have tons of challenges, tons of videos, tons of information in there. And then we throw out these donation-based challenges every once in a while. And we come in and start doing a new challenge that has a new flavor and theme about it. And the theme this time is all about that spirituality. It's about connecting with higher consciousness. So the journaling exercise was all about, who do I want to become? First of all, asking yourself, who do I really want to be? And then what do I need to let go of? What do I need to interrupt? What do I need to drop? If I want to become incredibly abundant, super successful, and super successful means I'm living a fulfilled life. So I'm sharing this message with as many people as possible, because that's what drives me. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. That's what gets me excited. Of course, I have an incredible, loving, and wonderful family as well. But the fulfillment piece and doing what I'm passionate about is sharing these messages. So if I want to do that, I have to interrupt. I have to release all the low vibe energy that says, oh, you've tried this before and it didn't work, right? And then I have to look at how far I've come and how many shows I've done, and everything that I have contributed to the world, right? That law of compensation. Everything that I've given, it always comes back. It may not come back from that person, but it's coming back to me because I've set up the field for it. So if I want to be an incredibly abundant person, I have to interrupt those energies of not wanting to go buy tires, right? That just happened recently. I'm like, why am I being resistant about buying tires? My tires are bald. I need new tires, like go get your tires. I have a credit card with 0% financing. I'm going to go get the tires. I'm going to stop being silly and resistant and feeling that constriction, because if I want to up level in abundance, that's what I need to do. I was talking to somebody, I think it was my daughter the other day, about rent. And I'm like, if you have the money, pay the rent. If you have the money, pay the bill. Don't be in constriction and fear and go, this is all I have, because then that's all you're going to have. Just pay the bill. Don't get behind on your bills because you're constricting and you're in fear. Just pay the bill and trust and have faith that more is coming. That's how we shifted. We shifted a lot of things that way. Okay, that's number 4. How do I change my response Am I addicted to this way of thinking and being because it keeps me safe and the same? So how many of those addictions do you have where it's like, oh, I'm just going to be depressed today because being depressed today means I don't actually have to create anything, or being depressed today means I don't have to figure out how to make money or how to do something with my life? Like, are you addicted to those things? Because those things are definitely creating in your life. Want to know how to get out of that? Do something. Even if you write a freaking paragraph in a book, or even if you research something, just do something to activate the energy field so you're not in that lower, denser frequency where you're going to get more stuff like it. And sometimes you need to just take your foot off the gas, especially if you've been going really hard and you're feeling the exhaustion and you're just feeling kind of sick of it. Then, step back a little bit. There's a saying, and it was so cool because it's come into my experience, law of attraction, hello, a few times. And I'm reading this book. Actually, I have it right here. I'm going to show you guys. It's called Take Off Your Glasses and See, because, and it's by Jacob Lieberman. This is such a fascinating book because, I'm going to be 50 this year, and the eyesight thing has been really interesting. And I had glasses as a kid, and I got surgery when I was 30. I wore contacts my whole life, and they were really bothering me. They were really hurting. So I got the surgery, could see perfect. Like, since I was 31, I've been able to see perfect. And now reading is becoming a little bit of a thing. So somebody turned me onto this book, and I am fascinated by how our eyesight is the only muscle that weakens and gets worse and worse over time. Anytime we have an injury or something, we get better from it. But our eyesight, we have this belief system that it gets worse and worse over time. And the eye doctors, portray that. And because of that, your prescription gets worse every year, right? So I want to stop that whole cycle. And I know people like Rhonda Byrne, the person who wrote The Secret, she cured her eyesight. There's also another book out, and I can't remember the name of it, but there's exercises and stuff that you can do to strengthen your eye muscles, because the reason why we lose our eyesight is from weak, strained muscles, a belief system, and then wearing glasses actually makes them weaker. So there's a term in this book called open focus. And when you open your focus, so many interesting things happen. So I've been practicing kind of like focusing on my peripherals. Your vision changes so much, and your vision changes based on stress and based on the emotional field. So if you can calm down, if you can take a deep breath, have you ever heard of that? Like, I was so angry I couldn't see, right? That gets real constricted. When we wear glasses, we have no peripherals. So we have no open focus. So then our eyes get weaker and weaker. So I was talking to an artist the other day. We went to the Sawdust Festival in Laguna Beach, which is such a cool thing. It's all local artisans. And he grew up in Laguna, and his paintings were amazing, like so spiritual. I could feel the energy. My eyes were watering. And he was explaining all of them to me, and he started talking about open focus. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just heard about that. So it's when an artist is painting really intently, and they back up to take the whole painting in and see what else it needs. So this is what you need to do in your life. Have open focus. Be aware of what's around you, of what the energy is doing, and allow yourself to be open to new things, to new ideas, to new energies, to new solutions, because that's going to put you in that upper field. So, and changing your response actually changes the energy field as well. So when you don't respond from a wound, when you don't respond from a trigger, you take a deep breath, you work on your stuff, and you go, how do I want to respond from this? Like, how would a completely healthy person respond to a headache? Or how would a completely healthy person respond to lower energies? You will become new. If I was super wealthy and abundant, I wouldn't be thinking about my bills 24/7. I wouldn't be thinking about how I'm going to pay that. I would be trusting. I would be in faith. I would know the money's there. You've got like this, spiritual bank account. Let's draw on it. That might be a little too airy-fairy for you, but it's true. And your spiritual bank account is based on how you're feeling. It's based on how you're trusting. It's based on how you're responding. All right. So number 5 is this asking me to grow and rise up? So if you're real low, if you're real dense, if you're really like, if you've had a trauma happen, or if you've had a tragedy happen, what is this experience calling you to? It's calling you to rise up. It's calling you to grow. It's calling you to maybe become more spiritual, maybe become more meditative, maybe take on practices that are not so densely human. Maybe it's calling you to let go of alcohol or a low substance or something that you're doing that's not really helping you become more. So what is this experience calling me to is a great question. What is my stuff in this? It's always an invitation to clear, especially if you're super sick of it. If you're just sick of this shit, if you're sick of living like this, if you don't want to do this anymore, those are the calls to action. So in my greatest times of creating finances in my life, it's been a feeling of, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of just sitting here wishing, hoping, and praying, and I'm going to go out and do something. I'm going to act for my creation. I'm going to act for my creative energies. I'm going to put forth value in the world, and then that value is going to be reflected to me. And that's absolutely what's happened in the last few years. Take your eyes take your clues from the universe. Okay, not eyes. If I could only read my handwriting. So take your clues from the universe and watch how energy is flowing. So if you're looking to create a manifestation and that manifestation feels really big and it feels really far out, then that's exactly where you're putting it. Bring it in a little closer and ask yourself, how can I feed the energy of this manifestation today? Is it just meditating and visualizing? Is it making a list of what makes me happy and joyful, getting my vibe up there? Is it standing in the sunshine for a little while? Is it being grateful for the life that I'm living? How is the energy feeling? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it opening up to you? Are all the doors closing to you? Because then you need to take a step back and open your focus. Open your focus by going, I don't even know what's going to manifest from this, but I know it's going to be great. And just taking your foot off the gas for a minute and allowing the energy to show you the next logical step in creating that manifestation. If you want to co-create, you must acknowledge and spend time on your relationship with the flow. So again, that is meditation, but that is also even just throughout your day, taking a deep breath, getting back into your body, acknowledging that you're not just human, acknowledging that you have infinite intelligence on your side, waking up to those miracles, looking for signs, looking for the law of attraction in action. All of those things will just give you more and more confidence. I love looking for license plates, 555, 777, 111. All like those things speak to me. Feathers. I just had a whole conversation on Facebook about feathers. Oh my goodness. The last photo shoot I did with my daughter in a park, we were both just feeling it. We were feeling good and the day was beautiful. And we're in this gorgeous park. We kept seeing feathers standing up. So they were literally standing up in the ground. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. So being in tune to that, being in tune to nature and all of the signs around you means you've opened your focus and you're believing in more than you can just see. You're trusting and having faith in things unseen. That's what faith is. It's trusting that there are universal forces, that source is behind you, that the universe has your back, that you are in a place for greatness because you came here for that, especially if your heart is calling you to that. It would be really crazy for us to have these desires and not have the ability to manifest them. I mean, the truth is they've already manifested. We just have to tune into them. We just have to tune into the frequencies. All right. So when it comes to the spiritual matter, creating from the magical, the esoteric, things cannot be seen or touched. Those things of, miracles, what miracles are made from. One energy is yin and one energy is yang. So the energy of yin is nurturing the energy. It's allowing the energy to flow. It's trusting, it's having faith, right? The yang energy is the pushing, the desperation, the goal setting, the feeling like impatience, right? It's not allowing the field to do what it needs to do and fostering the energy to turn into physical manifestation. That's where your doubts come from. That's where your impatience comes from. That's where all those crappy feelings come from, where you feel like you don't have the control. You don't feel like you are worthy of what you are asking to manifest. Those are some of the worst feelings that we have when we think about those things. When the doubt comes in and the low self-esteem and the low self-confidence, and we forget who we are and we forget how far we've come and we forget that we listen to things like this. Like this is, I feel like my position on this earth is just to remind people of who they are. And I'm not saying I don't forget, because I absolutely forget who I am. I got my little guru in my house to remind me. I'm here to remind you that you are powerful beyond measure. And when you put the science and the spirituality of manifestation together, you are going to be a powerful force that cannot be reckoned with. And you will create manifestations, but you will do it in a way that is not so hard. You'll do it in a way that feels more like flow. You'll let go. You'll allow. I know I've shared my weight loss journey before, but I definitely want to share again because it's been so interesting. So for the longest time, I was, fighting against it. And, everybody says you get older and you gain weight and then you can't lose weight. And I'm working out like a maniac. Like I'm beating myself to a pulp every day, 6 days a week. I'm tracking my food. I'm being obsessive about it and making sure I have my protein and, forcing myself to eat when I don't really want to eat. And I got to eat enough. And if I don't eat enough, I'm going to lose muscle and all of that craziness for 2 straight years. And this had gone on for years before that, but really intensely, right? Energy getting dense really intensely. So I got to the point, I'm doing body fat competitions. I'm winning those. I feel good for a little bit. I don't feel good for a little bit. Like it's literally like this up and down yo-yo. And I decided to stop. And this actually came on the heels of me getting really sick and my eating changed. Like all of a sudden I just realized I want to eat like I want to eat, and I want to eat when I'm hungry, and I want to eat what intuitively comes to me. And I started tuning into another piece of myself with that wasn't so structured and wasn't given to me by somebody else. I wasn't looking outside of myself for the answers anymore. And I started working out. I'm still working out, but started working out more intuitively. Like if I see something and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that today. I don't feel like a loser. I'm like, I'm here to gain muscle and strength and do it in a way that feels good to me and not in a way that I potentially could hurt myself or exhaust myself, because I was doing a lot of that. So by letting go of that, no longer tracking, no longer judging the foods, like I eat the cinnamon roll, I feel pretty good. I feel great about that actually. I don't do it every day. I don't feel like doing it every day. And really listening to my body and going, okay, what do I need in this meal? It's not always a protein, a carb, and a fat. I'll tell you that. Sometimes it's just protein. Sometimes it's never really just carb. I always mix it with proteins because that's what feels good to me. Because I do want muscle. I really want to continue to gain my muscle. And I have a belief system that protein connects with muscle. So I will continue to do my protein shakes and all that stuff. However, I have literally let everything go. I no longer wear my heart monitor, which I think right now is just where I need to be. I think eventually I want to know what my heart is doing, but I can feel that, right? I know what my heart is doing. But it was to get away from the calorie burn because I was a little obsessed with the calorie burn. I let go of tracking. I'm not tracking my food. I'm just asking myself what I need in that moment. And I'm no longer going on the InBody machine. So you may have to throw out your scale, honestly, because I could count on one hand, maybe one finger, how many times that machine has said what I really wanted to say. So now I'm just using my clothes and the way and I'm not in harsh judgment of my body anymore. I don't look in the mirror and criticize it, right? I just feel good. And I literally am feeling in the body that I want to be in. It's so interesting what happens. And there were times like through the course of letting go where there were times when I would feel like, oh, I feel like I don't feel, where I want to be. And I would just let it go and go, okay, I'm bloated. Like I literally just am digesting food. That happens a lot. And we'll put it up there and we'll go, oh my God, I'm getting fat. And it's like, we're literally digesting food. So this is for everything. If you are working too hard to go get it, if you are killing yourself, if you are exhausting yourself, none of those things are in the frequency of universal law, high vibrational abundance, joy, all the things you say you want. None of that. That's a low vibe frequency that you're going to have a hard time creating results that are long lasting. So this has been very freeing. I feel so much more joy. I feel so much more freedom. I just don't feel so locked in. And it's like when I do have, and it's really one of the biggest, most interesting things about this is I am really listening to when I'm done with food. So my friend the other day had a banana muffin and we were going to share it. And I took 2 bites and I'm like, I'm done. Like I'm literally not eating for emotions anymore. And I'm listening to my body of, okay, I've had enough. I'm tuned into that intuitive part that is telling me what I need and what I'm done with and what I don't need any more of. So that is like, if you're just eating and you're being very unconscious about it, and you're not really in tuned, you're going to overeat. And if you're eating from emotions and stress, you're definitely going to overeat. And I'm doing this with a lot of different things in my life where I'm just really listening, really paying attention and taking my cues from my internal knowing, from that internal space. And you'll get there. You'll get there once you quiet the mind enough and listen enough, you will create from that energy. So that is the spirituality and science of manifesting. We are in a co-creative journey. We are on this together. We are in relationships with people for a reason, for our expansion and growth. We have the ability to sit and quiet our mind for a reason so we can remember who we are, so we can remember that we have this power. Like if you actually sat there every day and for like 5 or 10 minutes, you contemplated, and maybe a few minutes here and there throughout the day, the fact that you are infinite intelligence, that you have this stream of higher consciousness flowing through you, that you are an expression of all that is. Do you think your day would be a little different? Do you think your life would manifest a little differently? Hell yes. So that's where I'm at. I'm at reminding myself of that throughout the day. I'm connecting with meditation throughout the day. I'm really leaning into more of the spiritual messages and the science. So we marry these things together and boom, that's where all the magic is. I'm rebranding my book. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be some giveaways with that in connection with reviews, because I'm going to get my reviews up on Amazon. So this is getting my book out in a bigger way. Quantum Speak was awesome. That title came to me. I truly believe in it. I believe in Quantum Speak. I love talking about the science, but it doesn't say enough about manifestation or the spirituality of manifesting. So the new book title, the new book cover is so hot. I'm so excited and I can't wait to share it with you guys. All right, M21 Revolution on Facebook is a way to connect with me in a deeper way. I also have my creative circle, which is killing it. I love what's happening in this group. A lot of it has been changing momentum and changing feelings and really working from that. So you can join that at any time because those are all recorded videos. I have a group open for support, and it's basically just, it's kind of a self program, and then you can email me what you're working on and I can help give you feedback and help you either create videos or create I know how to actually do the whole create space thing with publishing a book. So if you really want to get into getting out of resistance around your creativity, the creative circle is the way to go. It's $200. It's $200 per month for 2 months. And then moving forward, I may offer something to kind of keep people going. But for now, if you want to join it, you're totally welcome to. It is on my website, www.livelifegolden.com. Click on the creator circle and you can sign up for that. So exciting stuff happening. I love the science and spirituality of manifestation. I think it is the most brilliant combination of the way to live our lives. And I think it is the way that you can create absolutely anything, as long as it's in your highest and best. As long as you have the idea of what you want to create, it absolutely will manifest. That person that you want, that you desire, that you want to create a life with is there, but it may not be that specific person. Remember the specific house. It may not be that one. So you've got to let go and allow the energy and stop chasing it, so that other, I had a woman once who was really good friends with this guy, and she was looking for another guy and she couldn't really, she didn't really connect with this guy, and all of a sudden she realized it was this guy, and they're still together, and that was 8 years ago. So pretty freaking cool. I loved seeing that happen because she was like, it was so unexpected. This guy was so unexpected. I did not think that was the one, but he was. So just let go a little bit and allow the energy field to tell you what comes next. All right. I love y'all. Peace.